Well, hello there. Long time no talk. I haven't uploaded a YouTube video in so long. I feel like I start a lot of my videos this way recently, and I swear to you, I do have a video coming kind of explaining my sporadic—
Just as long as we do it every day, not just sporadically. How do you know if you're doing it sporadically?
attendance here on YouTube, but for now, we're going to stick to the makeup. Miss Jaclyn Hill herself finally launched an eyeshadow palette under her brand, Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is the Luxe Legacy eyeshadow palette that she did do in collaboration with her mom, which I think is adorable. I watched the launch video. I am really excited to try out this formula. I have actually liked a lot of what Jaclyn has put out. A ton of her products are things that I use almost every single time I sit down to do my makeup. So I do have high hopes for this palette, and I am going to hold it to a pretty high standard. Jaclyn has done plenty of collaborations. She definitely has had her fair share of experience in the cosmetic world. I'm sure she's familiar with labs and production and formulation and all of that sort of thing. So I have a lot of expectations, and I'm going to expect a lot out of Jaclyn and this palette. I'm not even sure what type of look I'm going to create. As usual, let me zoom you guys in. Let's get some of these shadows on the eyes, and we'll see if I am impressed. So I do think I'm going to start off obviously with something very neutral, a transition shade. I'm going to go ahead and start with this shade right here, Biscuit. And I'm going to use the Sigma Tapered Blending. This is the E40 Max. These brushes were actually sent to me, and I have been dying to try them out. So what better time than when I'm testing out a brand new eyeshadow palette. Now, obviously this shade isn't going to show up too much on me. It's a pretty light skin tone-esque type shade, but it's just something to get the ball rolling here. So I'm just being kind of messy and swirling that all over the eye. Boom, we're good. Next, I want to go in with this shade right here, Farm Girl. It's kind of like this nice neutral brown. I'm going to stick with that same brush, picking up just a bit of that pigment. And we're just gonna work that right into the crease. Blend, blend, blend. I have been trying to be better about how I hold my shadow brushes. Obviously, holding your brush back here is going to give you a much more soft, seamless blend, which is really important, especially if you have hooded eyes. Really prevents a lot of those harsh lines, and it really makes things easier. Things are gonna blend easier. God, I love that shadow base so much. That eyeshadow primer just works wonders. All right, so far so good. Again, I know we're kind of using lighter shades here, but it seems to be blending all right. I'm not seeing any patchiness at all. I'm gonna build that shade up just a bit. There we go. Now, what I like about this color, and I know I say this a lot when I'm reviewing eyeshadows, is that if you are someone who doesn't want to go in with a full crazy look, this is actually really nice if you just want to like contour out the eyes. That's what's nice about a shade like this, is that you could just slap this on mascara and be done. So it is a really nice shade. We are going to go ahead and try to deepen things up a bit. I'm going to go into this shade right here, Bad Mousy. I'm going to use a smaller brush. This is the Sigma Medium Tapered Blending. This is the E49. And then I'm just going to start by putting that kind of on the outer corner, and then I will work my way up into the crease. Now, deeper brown shades like this, I sometimes have a little bit of trouble with. Really with any brand. It's ones that kind of pull like a little bit more cool. I do find that they are a little bit harder to blend, so we'll see what happens here. This is a really good test, but I do have to say I really do like this shade. I think it looks quite nice, and I'm not really seeing too many issues here on the blend at all. Yeah, that's laying down really good actually. I always have a problem blending with my eyes anyways, because I don't know what happened as I age. I feel like, and I don't know if this is a thing, but I feel like my brow bone is almost like sinking. Is that a thing? It's hard because I feel like shadows will leave a weird shadow in that area. And sometimes I'm like deceived. I'm like, is this eyeshadow patchy? And I'm like, no, it's just your stupid eyebrow bone being annoying again and pissing you off as per usual. But anyways, I'm really liking this shadow so far. These are very, very soft shadows that seem to be blending quite nicely. I'm not noticing any fallout or really any large amounts of kick up here in the pan at all either. I'm gonna go back in with that brush that I used initially just to kind of blend this out a bit. I feel like it's blending nicely, but again, I can't tell if it's my eye, if this is a little bit patchy-ish. I mean, when I look up close, it looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. No, I wouldn't say that it's patchy. It's blending pretty easily. It looks good. I think I just went a little bit too heavy right here. Well, let's go ahead and move on. We'll just see how the look turns out. Now I think I'm gonna kind of take a break from all that. I do wanna put something in the center of my lid. I love these green shades in here, so I think I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, Tootsie, and I'm gonna put that in the center of the lid. I think this will look really nice with the shadows I've laid down so far. Oh, okay, yes. Ooh. Wow, that is gorgeous. Packs a punch. So I'm just gonna keep this focused on the center and kind of blending that in. I go above my crease because I have hooded eyes, and I'm just gonna blend that right into that deeper shade that I laid down, but that looks absolutely stunning. This shade right here, impressed. This is actually kind of like, okay, you know what? This is setting the tone. God, that is a really stunning green shade. I am so incredibly into it. I think I'm gonna now go ahead and dip into this shade right here. Oh, I'm debating. Do I wanna do apple pie or do I wanna do French silk? You know what, I think I want to do French silk. It's a little bit more of a champagne-y color, a little bit brighter. All right, so I'm going to focus that on the inner corner here and working that into that green shade. Yes, I love that. That's beautiful. I didn't even clean off my finger either, so I'm almost kind of like mixing these two. I think that's gonna look really nice together. This metallic formula is like, wow, definitely exceeding my expectations. I'm gonna dip back into that Bad Mousy shade, and I'm just gonna use that to just make sure I keep that outer corner nice and deep and that the green didn't totally overpower it. I do want to take it just, of course, one little step further. I'm going to take this brush right here from Sigma. This is the E25 blending brush. I think I'm going to go into this shade right here, Rachy. I'm going to take just a little bit of that on this brush, and I'm going to use that just above here, kind of where everything was laid down. And I'm going to use that to kind of like blend out the deeper shade and just to add a little bit more dimension. Plus, I want to try out as many of the shadows as possible. Yes. That is giving exactly what I needed it to. I love that. It just blended everything together and just added even more of an ombre effect, even more dimension, and just diffused everything out so incredibly beautifully. I think I'm actually going to use that same, no, I was going to use that shade on the lower lash line, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to keep going with the green. I'm going to use the shade Moo right here, this kind of army green on the lower lash line. I'm going to use that same E25 Max, and I'm going to drag that along the lower lash line. Oh yeah, I like that. Gave it like more of like a grungy-ish look. It's really pretty. The way that these shadows blend, I honestly can say this is very Jaclyn. The way that they look very like diffused, and the kind of smoky look that you can get just by using them yourself is just so Jaclyn. Just like the way that her makeup typically turns out, just the way that this looks, like the extreme blend, the smokiness of it all, just the way that these shadows are. This is totally Jaclyn's formula, 110%. If you have this palette and you've used it, you'll know what I mean. If you're now wanting to order it and you get your hands on it, you'll know what I mean. What I'm gonna do is, I think I'm good with this look. Oh, I almost forgot. No, I'm not. Girl, no, you're not. We need to do the inner corner. We need an inner corner highlight. I have a whole bunch of new brushes in front of me, so I gotta take this one out here. This is from BK Beauty, which I am obsessed with lately, obsessed with their brushes. This is their A504. This is from a collaboration that BK Beauty did with Angie Hot and Flashy. Super cute name. And I'm actually gonna pick up this shade right here, Meat and Potatoes, and we're gonna use that on the inner corner and the brow bone. Another shade that just screams Jaclyn to me. And again, the way that this is blending, that is a beautiful inner corner highlight. This is the type of shade that I could reach into all of the time. It's definitely, it's an inner corner highlight shade. Like, I want to reach into this palette specifically for this shade. absolute perfection. Okay, now we're good. So I'm gonna go ahead, pop on some liner, some mascara, and then I will be back with my final thoughts. All right, so here is the completed look using the Jaclyn Cosmetics Luxe Legacy. That's a mouthful. Eyeshadow palette. You guys, honestly, I'm impressed. This is a really solid formula. I didn't have any issues with these shadows. The metallics were like, boom, one layer, good to go. The mattes blended out absolutely beautifully. I had no issues with this palette whatsoever. Bravo to Jaclyn for her first eyeshadow palette. This is gorgeous. This color story is spot on for me. If I were to design a palette, this is probably how I would do it personally. I love that there's some cool tones, warm tones. I am living for all the neutrals, but I love that the pop of color here that's been chosen is green. I'm gonna say that the greens are the pops of color. Absolutely genius. Green is such a flattering shadow shade on really any eye color. It doesn't matter. Greens just always look stunning on the eyes. It's like my favorite. I love green shadow. When I'm even looking in the viewfinder right now and looking in the mirror, this just looks so diffused and smoky and just poppy on the eyes. There is so much dimension. I love the way that it looks when it hits the light. This palette made me feel very pretty. Like my eyes, I'm like, damn. This is a really beautiful eye look. I have really nothing more to say other than that. I think that if you picked this up, you are not going to be disappointed. This actually has me really excited for any future palettes that Jaclyn has planned because I think she nailed it. Love the packaging. Love, love, love the inspiration. I think it's incredible. Everything is just A+. Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. What did you think of this eye look? Did you pick up this palette? Give this video a huge thumbs up if you liked it. Of course, share it if you did. That helps me so much. And if you enjoyed this video, why not hit subscribe and follow? I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Mwah. Bye, guys.